Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking into the Edward Snowden disclosures. Our goal here is to really pull apart the sources, understand the key events, what drove him, and the impact it all had.
Yeah, it's a huge story. Definitely one that still shapes how we talk about privacy and, well, security online.
Absolutely. So let's start with Snowden himself. Born '83, right? An NSA contractor.
That's right. He was working for Booz Allen Hamilton, a contractor for the NSA, back in 2013.
And that's when it all happened. He leaked this just huge trove of classified documents. What did that really uncover?
Well, the big picture was the sheer scale of global surveillance. Programs run by the NSA, often with the Five Eyes partners.
The U.S., UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand Intelligence Alliance.
Exactly. And crucially, with cooperation from major telecom and tech companies. That leak just instantly ignited this massive public debate.
National security versus personal privacy.
Precisely.
What made him do it? I mean, the risks were enormous.
Well, his stated reasoning was deep concern. He felt these programs went too far and that trying to raise flags internally just wasn't working. He said he wanted the public to know what was being done, in their name.
A decision with pretty immediate and severe legal consequence.
Oh, definitely. Indicted under the Espionage Act back in the U.S., we're talking serious charges, potential for decades in prison.
And his passport was canceled.
Yep, revoked while he was trying to travel. That led to him getting stuck in transit in Moscow after leaving Hong Kong. Russia eventually granted him asylum, then residency, and finally citizenship just a couple of years ago in 2022.
Okay, let's dig into what was actually revealed. You mentioned programs. Any big names we should focus on?
PRISM is probably the most famous. It allegedly gave the NSA direct access to servers of companies like Google, Facebook, Microsoft.
Wow. Correct access.
Yeah. Then there was Tempora, which was the UK's GCHQ program, tapping into fiber optic cables. We also learned about Boundless Informant, this tool mapping NSA data collection globally, and the huge Verizon phone records collection.
Just metadata or?
Initially described as metadata, who called who when for how long, but the scale was vast. And X-key score was another big one.
X-key score.
Think of it like a search engine for, well, almost everything a typical user does online. Emails, chats, browsing history. Incredibly powerful.
Our sources mentioned so much more, too. Surveillance targeting French citizens, the NSA's black budget showing payments to tech firms.
Right, for access or compliance.
Yeah.
Also, things like harvesting email contact lists, tracking cell phone locations pretty much in real time.
And even efforts to undermine encryption itself. Bull Run, I think it was called.
Bull Run, yes. Trying to weaken or bypass encryption standards. Plus, using tracking cookies for targeting, accessing data center links between, say, Yahoo and Google overseas. That was muscular.
It didn't stop there, did it? Even online games.
Apparently so. Monitoring communications within games like World of Warcraft, Second Life, Xbox Live. And then there were the Lovent cases. NSA employees using the surveillance tools to spy on personal interests, like ex-partners. It showed the potential for abuse, the human factor.
Just staggering scope. How many documents are we talking about?
Estimates vary wildly. Tens of thousands, maybe up to 1.7 million. Some contained really sensitive operational details.
Understandably, this kicked off a firestorm. How did governments react?
The U.S. government reaction was largely condemnation, calling him a traitor, though, interestingly, some officials later sort of acknowledged the debate he sparked was necessary. Internationally, it caused a lot of tension, definitely strained relationships with allies who were implicated or spied on. It even led to a UN resolution on digital privacy.
And the courts in the U.S., did they find these programs legal?
It was complicated. Some federal courts ruled programs like the bulk phone record collection were illegal or likely unconstitutional. Others upheld their legality. It wasn't a clear-cut legal victory either way, but it did lead to legislative changes.
Like the USA Freedom Act.
Exactly, in 2015. That specifically aimed to end the NSA's bulk collection of domestic phone records, shifting the storage burden back to the telecom companies. It imposed some limits.
So where does that leave Snowden now?
He's still in Russia, became a citizen, as we said. He's married, has children, works apparently for a Russian IT company, and he's also president of the Freedom of the Press Foundation. He published a memoir, Permanent Record.
Right, and the U.S. government actually sued him over the proceeds from that, didn't they?
They did, successfully arguing he violated non-disclosure agreements, so they sought to seize the profits. It really highlights the ongoing personal and legal battle for him.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've traced Snowden's path from contractor to whistleblower, looked at the incredible scope of surveillance he revealed, PRISM, X-Keyscore, all of it, and the huge debate it sparked globally.
A debate that's still very much alive today, touching on government secrecy, security, privacy, and the power of tech companies, and obviously the profound personal cost for Snowden himself.
Absolutely. It really forces us all to think.
Yeah, and maybe that's the thought to leave listeners with. Considering everything that came out, what does that balance between national security and our individual privacy actually look like today in this digital world? And maybe more importantly, whose job is it to draw that line and make sure it's kept? Something to really chew on.